It is Mental Health Awareness Week. We wrap up things on Sunday. We've been talking about it every day because it's important to us, and we know that, it should be something that we talk about daily. But this week we put aside and we park it for Mental Health Awareness Week, and somebody who's a massive, massive advocate, not only this week, but all year round. He saved some time for us to pop in, Mr. Mike King. Good morning, Mike.
Bjorn, Bex, Salah, lovely to see you all. Man, you guys have got the DJ look going on.
Really?
Yeah, but it's just like, I do a lot.
Yes.
And so, you got the cap. You got that look. You got that look.
Well, I've got to say,
there is a look, and it's universal too. It's not just like The Rock look like you guys, Flavor look like you guys. you know.
it's like a unannounced uniform. That we're all in.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a cool look.
Thanks,
I like
brother.
it. I wish I could pull it off. My head's too big for a cap.
You're looking very West Auckland, I've got to say. How long have you been growing that mullet? That mullet is impressive.
Yeah, that was so.
You did that on purpose?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no. So 2 years ago, our counselling service was costing us $78,000 a month. We were doing 550 sessions. Now we are doing 3,400 sessions a month, and it's costing us $520,000. As you both know, we're not funded by the government, so I have to go out and find the money. So I'll do anything to raise money. And so we came up with a crazy idea in August of the Blonde Mullet Brigade. And I should have made it the grey mullet, then I wouldn't have had to dye it. But we went Blonde Mullet Brigade and raised $50,000. So I'll do anything for money. I'll wear a dress for a month if someone gives me $50,000, and I'll give all of that money to the kids. So
That's awesome.
Whatever it takes. And then, so August is over. Why don't I cut it off? Because up the wires, bro. Up the wires. I can't cut it off in case they lose. If I cut it off and they lose, it's my fault. It's my fault.
Oh, true that. Okay.
So I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it until, let fate decide what's happening with up the wire.
We know you got a lot of energy for this week. We know you got a lot of energy for mental fitness and mental health all the time, Mike. I'm surprised actually you're joining us this morning because I know how busy you are, bro.
I love you, bro. You ask, I got to come.
Thanks, bro. But, let's just focus on this week.
Yep.
Do you think we get it now?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I think we get it. The public get it. Bureaucrats don't get it, and they will never get it. And anyone who thinks a change of government is going to make a difference is living in la-la land. I have never met a politician I haven't liked. You have politicians in here?
Yeah, a lot recently.
They're all great, right?
Yeah,
doesn't
nice
matter
people.
what party, doesn't matter what their colours are. They are good human beings. I've never met a politician I haven't liked. Politicians go in, and at their heart of everything is they want to help people. They want to make a difference in people's lives. When they get there, that kind of changes and they become a bit self-centered when they've been there over a period of time. I've never met a bureaucrat I have liked. Bureaucrats don't go in there to help people. They go in there to climb the ladder. That's all they're doing. So they put self first. And politicians come and go. The bureaucrats stay the same. The bureaucrats will be there. When all of these politicians go. Politicians can only allocate funds. And by that I mean Labor gave $1.9 billion and said they want to do this, this, and this. But they can't say which organisation should be funded because that would be political interference and they could be funding their relatives. So
they've got to leave it up to the system to kind of distribute it.
And there's a little thing called bureaucratic nepotism, whereby most of the people that are in these bureaucracies come from NGOs, and they just give it back to the NGOs they came from. And I'm not saying there's anything dodgy in this, but a lady called Robin Shearer is the Deputy General of Mental Health in New Zealand. She was Chief Executive of a big organisation under the WISE Group. When she came in 2019, I think they were getting $88 million, and now they're getting $147 million. So I'm not saying there's anything dodgy there. They went through the legitimate process, but join the dots.
Where's the...
Join the dots.
Mike King's words, everybody. Money just gets swallowed up in systems, right? Like it always happens.
And the process is so. When bureaucrats, right, they're there for their own safety. So they are there to keep themselves safe, which is why, when we're building a speed hump, it costs $350,000. It's only about $25,000 in material. The other $300,000 goes on the trucks, the cones, to keep the workers safe. Right, and that's the lie. Because if something happens to that worker, the bureaucrat that didn't put all those cones up can no longer climb the ladder. So most of our money gets sucked up in health, safety, and risk management. And it's not management of the people who are working; it's the risks to the bureaucrats.
It's self-protection. So with that, everybody kind of celebrated, and it was good news when they said they were going to give, just under $2 billion into mental health, and people, were like, "That's great, and we need that." How much of that do you reckon actually made it to kind of the front line? Like, do you have any ideas on figures of what actually made it in terms of increasing people's access to
I don't know,
services?
but here's the funny bit: they don't know.
Yeah,
they seriously.
No, I know.
I've OIA'd them on numerous occasions. Said, "Where's the money gone? Where's the money gone? Where's the money gone?" They can't answer it. I'll give you a classic example, and it's not even part of that money. The Ministry of Education spent $44 million for 4 years of counselling in schools, $100,000 a year. So $44 million, divide that by $400,000, it's $110 a session. In year one, they delivered 9,600 sessions. At a cost of $6.4 million, which works out to be $485 a session. The reason they could only do 9,600 is because they couldn't get enough counsellors. The reason they couldn't get enough counsellors is because they only paid their counsellors between $30 and $60 per session.
Even though they're costing like $400.
85, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what? You want me to explain it to you how it is? They run it like taxi companies, right? So they'll get 5 taxi companies down to Wellington. They'll have a big, hui and no dewey. There's 20% of the money gone. Then 3 companies will come back. One come back to Auckland. They'll buy a building. They put people inside the building. They have people outside the building. Lawyers and accountants to fund that. Then they go and buy the taxi stands. Then they go and buy the taxis. Then they get the drivers. The drivers are the ones that do all the work, right? They're the counsellors.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to access that service, you have to go over to that taxi stand and take the first cab off the rank. You can't choose a taxi. It's under access and choice. You get your choice is the first cab that is available. So we're paying that driver between $30 and $60, but the infrastructure is costing $425.
Yeah.
We pay $147 on average for a counselling session. So how do we keep our costs down? Well, we invented Uber. You cover your own costs. You have your own office. You have your own cars. All you've got to have is you've got to be associated with a legal entity.
Yep.
You've got to have a current practicing certificate, and your organisation has to have done the police checks on you. Boom, easy.
I know you've done all the maths, and I think I need a little bit of Panadol after hearing all of that. I just want to bring this back to the focus around the week, Mike, and actually you, because everyone knows that you do a lot of work around this week and in general throughout the year. But you personally, you also need to take care of you. So what is it? What is it that you do?
A lot of people say that, Salah.
but I'm being
but
straight.
my response is the same.
What is it?
If I don't do it, who will?
Yeah, but you need...
But seriously, it's a lovely thing to say, Mike. You need to take it.
Yeah.
But if I don't, kids die. That's simple. It's simple as that.
I get that.
So now the way I balance it, I'm 61 years old.
Yeah.
You know my old life, bro.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I was,
Yep.
man. I was a stand-up comedian. I was taking cocaine, drugs, alcohol. I was on stage swearing at people and saying inappropriate things about people. I was on television. I had my life, bro. I've been, 16 years clean and sober now. I'm in the final 100 meters of my life. I've had 2 strokes. I've had 2 heart things. I know where I'm at in life, and I'm happy where I'm at. I've accepted that it's all going to come to an end. So I'm going to use every minute that I have available to ensure that the young people around here today have permission to go out and positively impact the world, change the world. People say to me all the time, "Oh, Mike, you're trying to change the world." Hell no, I can't change the world. I'm an old bugger. But if I can give permission to young people to go out and change the world, then I'll do that. we've got too many old people telling our young people today what their problems are and what the solution to their problems are. There's only one group of people that know what's going on with youth, that's youth. And there is only one group of people out there that have the solution, and that is youth. But their voice is being drowned out by silly old twats like my generation, telling them what to do. And it's time to stop. You know, if you're a parent out there, my one piece of advice to you on Mental Health Awareness Week, to give your kids a real shot at life and to attack life positively. Find out what your kids love. Find out what your kids are passionate about. Then use your connections, your money, your ties, and try and figure out how you can get that child paid to do that for the rest of their life. Once you've done that, job done. Job done. Yep. And do not, please, do not let your narrow vision, do not let you interfere with your child's dream. I have people say to me, oh, you know, I want my son to go on and be a doctor or a lawyer, and he wants to be a truck driver. Oh, he can't be a truck driver. Truck driver is step one. The kid might have visions to own the whole company. Don't let your narrow view of a job interfere in your child's dream.
Well said. The only reason why I'm focusing on you and where you're at with you, with your own journey and your own pause around Mental Health Awareness Week, was because in 2019, I reached out to you to come and have a chat to me because I wanted to change the world. Mm-hmm. And you said to me, I don't know whether you remember it.
Go.
You said, stop, pause,
there
breathe.
was a different circumstance. I remember that.
Yeah.
Remember that. You just had a massive tragedy. You just had a massive tragedy. And it was impacting not only you, it was impacting your children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you were, you know, your focus was on a particular event. And I've had times like that myself where I have had to step back. But you've grown as a person since then. You know, your relationship with your family is good, just like mine is right now. I wasn't spending enough time with my wife. So, you know, I knew I had to do something, so I gave her a job.
Let's have a romantic date at the office.
Yeah, that's it. And she got a better understanding of, you know, you've got to include your family in all the decisions. But, you know, I'm on this bus to the end. And, you know, if you want to get on the bus, get on the bus. If you don't want to get on the bus, I can always pull over and climb off. And I'm not talking about my wife. I'm talking about people in general. You know, we've got to stop telling people what to do and start showing them what to do. You know, young people need to know there's someone out there that cares and is working tirelessly. There's a on Stuff is a interview with Gareth and Leanne Hall. Their daughter, Madeline Grace Hall, took her life on March 31st of this year. She was eaten, chewed up, beaten up by the system and spat out the other end. The parents were gaslit. They were told that it was their fault. Maddie was told it was her fault. She had over 100 admissions to hospital, 2 by helicopter. She was charged twice by the system. Actively encouraged by CAMS to be charged to teach her a lesson. And Maddie was one of those kids. I actually got to meet her a year before she passed, and I knew she was broken then. But if the system had actually put into play some early intervention and treated her like a human being rather than a number, I'm positive that she'd still be here today. But no one was there for Maddie, you know, and so, you know, the system wants these kids to be numbers. And she's a human being. And she was a gorgeous, gorgeous young girl, broken by Te Whatu Order and the Ministry of Health, who have absolved themselves of all responsibility. Why? Because they're bureaucrats, and they try to get the story squashed. This week, And the story's out. It's on Stuff right now. Please have a listen to the parents and just listen to what's said. If you want an understanding of why I do what I do, please listen to that story and you'll understand these kids aren't numbers. You know, they are human beings and they need the thing that Life FM gives to people. What's the number one thing you give to people? You give them hope and you give them love. No one's giving hope and love to our kids anymore. They're just numbers. And if you listen to this interview with the parents, you'll see the treatment that they were giving and they gave to their daughter. And I don't want you to think about the individuals that were horrible to their daughter, to Maddie, and caused her to take her own life. I want you to think of the system that made these robots. It's not an individual responsibility. These people are all overwhelmed and they're overworked and underpaid and all the rest of it. It is a system made by bureaucrats. It is a system that will never work. And unfortunately, with the change of government, the system is still going to be there, and it's time to say no more.
We could go on for a long, long time chatting to you. There's so much insight, and you've given us really some really cool nuggets. Hopefully you've picked up on some of the beautiful advice that Mike's given. But before we cut you loose, bro, if someone's listening right now who's okay, who's in a good spot, but maybe they've got people around them who may not be, what do you say to those people?
Listen, yeah. We put too much pressure on our people who are struggling to reach out and ask for help. 40% of kids in school have a suicidal thought before they leave school, which is no big deal. You know, it's just a thought's just a thought. It's an option. 80% of those kids never ask for help. And the reason they never ask for help is because they're worried about what other people will think, they're worried about what other people will say, and they're not worried about what other people will do. And the number one reason kids give me for not talking to mum and dad about their problems isn't because I don't like mum and dad, they don't understand me, they're aliens. The number one reason kids give for not talking to their parents is, I don't want to disappoint them. My mum and dad have worked so hard for me, sacrificed so much. I can't now go to them and say this is how I feel because it would hurt them. Now, this is a generation of kids that we see as selfish and it's all about them. Think about that. Your child won't talk to you to spare your feelings. And yet our message to these kids is reach out and ask for help. Hang on a minute, I've just told you I'm scared of sharks, and your solution is, hey, go swim with some sharks and the dolphin will come along. We've got to stop putting pressure on our kids to make the first move. And every single one of us has got to stop telling our kids what to do and show them what to do. If you want to your kids to talk about their feelings and the pain that they are going through, guess what? You've got to talk about it.
That's why we have lifeguards at pools, right? Because people who are drowning can't yell out for help. So the lifeguard has to be the one that jumps in to go and get him.
So be the lifeguard. That's all we've got to do. Be the lifeguard. Talk to your kids about your feelings. Your kids know when you come home from work, Dad, that you've had a tough day. But if you don't talk to them about that tough day, they're going to make it about them. Hey, Dad, how was your day? Had a terrible day. I don't want to talk about it. Go to the fridge, get me a beer. I'll be on the couch. Now your child's walking into the fridge going, what do you do to Dad? Every time Dad sees you, he's always upset. It must be you've got to try harder in your maths. You've got to score more tries in the game. Yet a simple exchange. How was your day, Dad? I had a terrible day today, mate. I yelled at a customer. I feel terrible about it. But come here, son. Yep. Thank you so much for looking out for me, man. That is so cool. And just knowing that you care means the world to me. Now go to the fridge, give me a beer, I'll be on the couch. But your kids walk into the fridge now going, I helped my dad.
Yeah.
I help my dad. Yeah. We're empowering our kids. Not only we're empowering our kids and lifting them up, we're showing them that it's okay to talk about our feelings.
I think what you're getting at too is basically unconditional love, which is what, we're a Christian radio station.
Stop it with your logic, Bjorn.
But it's true,
Stop
right?
it with your common sense.
Because it's like
you'll never be a bureaucrat with that crazy talk.
No, but if your kids only think that your love to them is conditional on behaviour, on their feelings, on whatever it is, then it's like they have to live up to that so they won't go to that place with you.
It's a simple recipe,
wow.
I think, right?
Yeah, but no one ever talks about, oh, no, wait, you guys do. That's the irony, right? The answer's right there. stop complaining about your kids' shoes left on the floor. Stop worrying about the dirty dishes, because there are hundreds of families out there that would give everything. Maddie's mum and dad would give everything to see those shoes on the floor, to see that unmade bed, to see those dishes in the sink.
Amen.
So stop sweating the small stuff, man. Give our kids the unconditional love that they deserve. Give them that hope and give them that encouragement and positivity to go out and change the world.
If no one has said this to you this morning, you're a ray of hope, brother.
Thank you, my
Thanks,
bro. I love
thanks.
you.
I love you
guys
too,
are
bro.
the best DJs in the country. Did you know that, Beyond?
We're unoriginal in the way we dress, but we'll take it.
No, you're the best in the country. You haven't done too well in the city, but in the country, you boys rock and roll.
Oh, stay blessed, Mikey. I love you, bro.